Well, if you were a believer in DeMar DeRozan, then you're better than me at this stuff. Because I was skeptical of whether the Spurs should re-sign DeRozan. Now I am way more open to the idea. DeMar DeRozan has been great for San Antonio, and there's a lot to talk about between DeJounte, Kelden Johnson, Jakob Poeltl, Lamarcus Aldridge's place on this team, and whether he should be on this team past this season. I don't think so. But I do want to start with DeMar DeRozan. I think there's a couple things happening with DeMar. Number one, he's become one of the best passers in the league. And I think last night, or his last game, I should say, against the Hornets is kind of a symbolic thing for how DeMar has changed as a player. In that game, he only attempted 8 shots. Old DeMar DeRozan, if he attempted 8 shots, you basically got nothing out of him. But in that game against the Hornets, he had 8 assists, 9 assists to be exact, with the biggest bucket of the game being with about 30 seconds left. And DeMar, he had an isolation. He noticed Derek White open on the opposite side of the court, got it to him, led to a layup, and that was basically the end of the game. And to go along with the improvements to his passing, DeMar is simply shooting less. He's shooting 13 times a game this season, which is the least since his rookie season. And I think it's good for him because it's removing a lot of the not so efficient shots that he would attempt. I mean, this is going to sound a little mean, but I really believe this. I think DeRozan was always a little overrated for mid-range. Like, you go down his mid-range percentages throughout his career, he's in the low 40s. Like, he was never this insane mid-range shooter that people talked about him as. Like, he was never Chris Paul. He was never Dirk. He was never KD, Kawhi. He would occasionally look like that, but he was not that guy. And that's not to say he's not still shooting long twos, but now he's taking better long twos where it's pull-ups in the pick and roll more so than let me pump fake 5 times and just chuck this thing up there, you know what I mean? And so now you've got a guy who's averaging 20 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. He's super efficient. He's got like a 60% true shooting percentage. And now I'm just like, yeah, hold on to DeRozan, especially because, I mean, we'll see what other teams offer him, but the Spurs have so many bargains. Like DeJounte and Derek White are on great bargain contracts. They're not going to keep Aldridge, so that money's going to be off the books. Like, they're not going to be expensive even when they do sign DeRozan to another 20-plus a year contract. Now, I think there is a limit. I don't think they should max him or whatever, and we'll have to see what DeRozan wants. And a lot of teams have cap space this offseason, of course. But I think they should definitely consider bringing him back. Now, as far as should they trade DeRozan, I mean, depending on the offer, yes. If you get a great offer for DeMar, then okay, jump on it. So we'll see there. If we can talk about the rest of the Spurs, DeJounte is running a lot of pick and roll. He's pulling up from mid-range a lot, and his percentages have been really good on those. And he's going up with them with not much hesitation. I think it's a good sign. It still confuses me as to why DeJounte is not better from 3, given that his free throws have been good and his mid-range looks so good. We'll just have to see. I think if DeJounte can really unlock that 3, then that's the thing that's going to make him a big-time scorer. But given the contract that they gave DeJounte, they don't need him to be a 20-plus point scorer. It'd be nice if he got there, of course, but he's good right now. The other question is still his free throw attempts. Will DeJounte ever get to the point where he's just barreling to the basket without thinking about it? Or will he always elect for more of the evasive layup, the floater? He could just become amazing at those types of things, to be fair. I mean, the touch he's shown from mid-range is definitely a good sign with that sort of stuff. We'll see. I mean, if DeJounte caps out as a 17-point scorer, that's still good because, I mean, we all know how good he is on defense. And he's a big reason why their defense has been so good, of course. The passing's good, the rebounding's good. Like, DeJounte's a good all-around player right now with room to improve, even if the scoring doesn't take off like that. Now, if we get to Kelden Johnson, I do think Kelden's got some scoring potential as well. The 3 looks good. He was a good 3-point shooter in college. His free throws have been good. Kelden, unlike DeJounte, is built like a truck. He is listed at 6'5", 220. And I think he's got more potential off the dribble. Because you look at some of these closeouts, because that's usually how he scores. It's either attacking closeouts, catch and shoots on 3s, cuts to the basket, offensive rebounds, plays in transition. Anyway, there are times when Kelden will attack a closeout. It's usually a straight line dribble. And he looks really composed when doing it, and occasionally he busts out a crossover, a hop step, or a Euro step, and it just makes me think there's something there that the Spurs can still tap into with Kelden as a ball handler. And I think one day, assuming he gets better, he can be a pick and roll guy, and he is fearless going to the basket. He does not care who's in front of him. He invites contact, and I think he can build on his free throw attempts from this season, which have already been good. He's up to about 4 free throw attempts a game. And Kelden, he's had a number of 20-point performances this season, a couple of high teen scoring games as well. He's not the big part of the offense right now, so it's not going to happen every night, and I don't think they should expect it to happen every night right now, because he does still need to improve on his handle, and I do think Kelden can sometimes get a little too tunnel vision-like when he goes inside. But I think there's potential there, and again, the three-point shooting, the free throw attempts, I think Kelden can be a real offensive option for them. If we talk about Lonnie Walker, I'm surprised he's getting the amount of minutes he's getting, to be honest. I think he's not too good right now, but it's more like normal young player stuff. Like, he might take a pull-up jumper that's not too good, or he might drive inside without a real plan. I don't know. I'm not concerned with Lonnie. I'm just a little surprised that Popovich has given him as many minutes as he has. If I can talk about my guy, Jakob Poeltl, I think he's been good. I mean, the Spurs are way better with him. He sets screens. He just does all the boring big man things. I don't really think his ceiling is super high because his offensive limitations are pretty real. But he makes a difference, no doubt about it. Derek White, he's only played 8 games. We'll see. He was good in the bubble, shot a lot of threes, attacked the basket. Devin Vassell, the three-point shot has looked good. Besides that, I'll admit I haven't taken a real look at Vassell's defense, which was, of course, the other big thing with him, so we'll see. If I could talk about Lamarcus Aldridge finally, I mean, I already said it earlier in the video. I don't think Lamarcus fits on this team anymore. They play faster without him. The ball zips around more. They don't have to waste time trying to get it to him in the post. Defensively, he's not that good anymore. Although I would like to think that there's still a place for Lamarcus on offense, at least, if it's mainly just pick and pops, rolling to the rim, and like handoff plays and spotting up in the corner. I just don't know if Lamarcus is going to want to do that. I feel like he's still going to want his post-ups, and if you don't get him his post-ups, he's not going to play as hard. And I mean, at this point, even if he is playing hard, he's one of the slowest guys in the NBA, so yeah. And that's San Antonio for you, man. Again, I think they should really consider bringing back DeRozan, because even if they do, they're going to be sitting at about $80 million in salary, which is still enough to do whatever else they want to do. I don't know if they're going to be real players in free agency, but it's possible. I mean, maybe they want to throw a max contract at John Collins. We'll see. So yeah, the Spurs are going in the right direction. I think, is there a superstar on this team? No, probably not. But there's nothing wrong with building up your young guys and keeping some cap space open, and whether that means striking when a star wants to be out of his current situation, or just being a team that free agents would like to go to. There's an avenue for building it up back to a championship contender with the way they're going. So we'll see.